Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video, we're going to continue our Docker series and we're going to start with the command line interface. So today we're going to work with Docker and grabbing an image from the internet to utilize and looking at what images we have local on our system. So let's begin. From the previous videos in this series, we already know how to go to Docker Hub and we already know how to search for images. We understand tags, image types, etc. So here, let's go back to hub.docker.com and type in here WordPress. And let's search for WordPress. Okay, from here I found the official image of WordPress, and over here on the right I have docker pull WordPress command. I'm going to go ahead and copy that to the clipboard and bring it back over to our Ubuntu container to begin our work with the CLI. Coming back to our Ubuntu terminal, which we installed in previous videos, and I'm just using the default Ubuntu app that was installed when we installed Ubuntu to begin with. This is Ubuntu 2004. What I'm going to do is I'm going to issue the very first command, which is docker images. Every command is going to start with docker, and if I just do a docker, I'll get a whole bunch of different commands that we can run when using Docker, and we're going to go over the important ones throughout this series. So clearing the screen, if I do a docker images, you'll notice in here we have a Docker latest that was installed 12 days ago, and we have several things. We have what's in our local repository. So just to take a step back, in order to run a container, you can't run it from the internet. So you have to download it to either your local PC, your local server, the server image that you have in the cloud, or you'll be running it through some sort of cloud service. And this goes a little bit deeper than a cloud service because we're actually working directly with Docker and utilizing the Docker commands. So here, locally, we have what's called a repository of images that we hold on our server or our desktop or our image in the cloud. And it tells us in the repository, I have a container called Ubuntu. The tag is the latest. And if this was like an 1804 image, you would see tag as 18.04. If this was some sort of specialized image, you might have some sort of special tag for it. And we'll be naming our own containers when we create them later in the series, when we start working with Dockerfile. The image ID, this is just a large hex representation of our container. We can either access our images through the image ID or through the name plus the tag. When it was created and the size. So we have an Ubuntu container here that's 72.8 megs. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a docker pull WordPress. Now, this was what we copied to our clipboard earlier. When I hit enter, it's going to automatically determine, okay, I did not give it a tag. So it's going to attempt to download the latest image. So you can see you're using default tag latest. So we'll let it download and I'll come back. So it finally started to download. And as you can see here, I wanted to bring back the video because you can see that it's going through all these different pull completes, extracting, download completes. What these containers are they're layers of installation, and they have different layers to them. So this Docker had a lot of different layers to it. So it downloaded them all in succession of necessity and put it all together, came back out and said, hey, we now have our latest WordPress. So if I up arrow twice, I get back to the Docker images, and you can see that I have a new image added now that was created 44 hours ago, and it is 618 megs. So it's a little bit bigger than our original Ubuntu container that we downloaded in previous videos. So now we understand how to grab an image from the Docker Hub repository, and we understand that if we do a Docker's images, we understand what the different elements of this are that we see. So as you move forward, you can imagine the possibilities. Now, one last thing to say about repositories, you can set up your own repository local to your network that you can pull. So a lot of companies and facilities out there utilize their own internal repositories. That way they have some governance over what containers are allowed to be used, what is actually being used with inside the company, et cetera, et cetera. So in that instance, when you set up a Docker pull, you would point it at an internal repository to do so. Okay, so now we have done a Docker pull and we've done a Docker images. And in the next video, we're going to go over the Docker run command, which has a whole set of different pieces and elements to it that we want to go over in detail. So I'll save that for the next video. And I want to thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.